Good day everyone, I am Mariah Miriam Ilaria and today I will be discussing postmodern and modern culture in a worldwide view. Modernism and postmodern culture have a great deal in common. Both epochs cannot be reduced to a single art form or style, nor they can be reduced to a one theory. Rather, the two eras are famous of having produced different styles and ideas about art. Moving on to modernism and postmodernism. The difference between the two is that modernism is the deliberate break from the traditional form of poetry and prose that took place in the late 19th and early 20th century. On the other hand, postmodernism is a movement that began in the mid-20th century, is often described as a reaction against modernism. Modernism is characterized by the radical break from the traditional forms of prose and verse, whereas postmodernism is characterized by the self-conscious use in early styles and convention. Jean Baudrillard. He has achieved chorus status throughout the English-speaking world, and is claimed that Baudrillard has become one of the most high-profile postmodern theorists. However, for Baudrillard, postmodernism is not simply a culture of design. Rather, it is a culture of a simulacrum, which is the identical copy without an original. Moving on to Fredric Jameson. Fredric Jameson is an American Marxist cultural critic who has written a number of very influential essays of postmodernism. Where Jameson differs from other theorists is in his insistence that postmodernism can be theorized from within a Marxist or a neo-Marxist framework. Postmodern pop music. A discussion of postmodernism and popular culture might highlight different cultural texts and practices, and examples for this are televisions and pop music. Pop music culture's rapid progression has gone through realism, modernism, and into postmodernism. Postmodern television. Jim Collins in 1992 points out television is often seen as the quintessence of postmodernism culture. These claims can be made on the basis of number of television, textual and contextual features. Moving on to postmodernism and the pluralism of value. The selective tradition, as Williams 2009 points out, is governed by many kinds of special interests, including class interests. Particular interests articulated in specific social and historical context always inform the selective tradition. Next is the global postmodern. One way in which the world is said to be becoming postmodern is in its increasing globalization. In such scenario, globalization is the supposed successful imposition of American culture around the globe, in which the economic success of American capitalism is underpinned by the cultural work that this is commodities supposedly to do, effectively destroying indigenous cultures and imposing an American way of life on local populations. Lastly, convergence culture. Another aspect of the postmodern is convergence culture, where old and new media collide, where grassroots and corporate media intersect, where the power of media producer and the power of the media consumer interact in unpredictable ways, according to Henry Jenkins 2006. And that is all, everyone. Thank you for listening.